Good afternoon, former agent?
No, I'm actually a retired investigator, but I was a former task force officer.
Retired investigator. Okay, retired investigator Underwood. My name is Max Schardt. I represent Shannon Stillwell, okay?
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good.
All right, good. First of all, I just want to get one thing out of the way. And I know you were answering a question. You brought up some Atlantic Station incident. That has nothing to do with this case, correct?
No, it has nothing to do with this case.
Okay.
It was just referencing gang violence.
Okay, cool. You, in preparation, you knew you were going to be testifying eventually, and you provided a CV.
I did.
To the state, correct?
I did. It's probably been a while though, because I might have updated it since I did my Daubert, maybe.
Okay. Yes, I understand. On Friday, when the state was asking about some of your background experiences, you were asked, have you received training on how gangs use music to promote violence? And you answered yes.
I have.
Okay, could you tell me the name of that class and who taught it and when that occurred?
I have attended like the Georgia Gang Investigation Association training where, and I can't remember the name of the individual. I know Marissa Viverito has taught one at APD, but when I went to the GGIA one, I can't remember the name of the instructor, but I've had like at least 2 or 3 classes.
So Marissa Viverito is someone who worked for the DA's office in Fulton County, correct?
She used to.
And and she's also worked for the state of Georgia, correct?
Yes.
And you know her to be on the witness list for this case, correct? Okay, so she taught that class.
She taught one of them.
Okay.
I've been to more than one.
Well, who specifically talked about how gangs use music? What individual, what professor, or was it an artist that talked about that? Who was it?
It wasn't a professor, it was law enforcement.
Oh, law enforcement. And who was the law enforcement?
The one that I do remember recently was Marissa. She taught one at APD.
All right, Marissa Viverito, who used to work for the DA's office. Okay. So there was no one from the music industry, no artists or anything there. Okay.
No.
How gangs, you were asked if you had training in how gangs use music to promote fear in other gangs. Again, who were the musicians or anyone that spoke to you about that?
No musicians.
Okay.
The classes that I've taken have been all from law enforcement when it came to gangs. My other classes at Columbia Southern were professors, but they didn't talk about gangs. Okay.
And how gangs use music to promote fear in other gangs. What date was that? Who taught you about that?
I told you what class. I don't remember the instructor on one of them, but I do. Like I said, the most recent one at APD within the last 3 years. It might have been while she was still here. She taught that one. That's the one that stands out. But I did go to one down in South Fulton as well, but it was like a GGIA training.
You were asked how gangs use. You were asked about your training or education and how gangs use music to promote cohesiveness. Who taught that class? Is that the same answer?
It would be the same, yes.
Okay, so no one from the music industry, and it seems like
every class was law enforcement.
And the one that you're speaking of is Investigator Viverito, who's on the state's witness list for this case.
That's one of them.
Okay. And the same answer would be for your experience when the state asked you how gang members use music to send messages to rival gangs. Would those be your same answers?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then you were asked by the state here, among other things, to talk about lyrics in this case, and you've been speaking about specific lyrics.
Yes.
Okay, in that Bad Boy video, you didn't recognize the other artist?
No, I don't know who that is.
You ever hear Juice WRLD?
I've heard of it, but that's not anybody that came on the radar because he haven't probably committed a crime here in Atlanta.
Okay. So, as I understand it, in preparation of this testimony, and correct me if I get the timing wrong, sometime last week, the state gave you some music videos to review or some songs to review?
Yes,
Okay. And how many?
the three.
Okay. It was just those three?
Just these three.
Okay. And they were all songs by Jeffrey Williams?
Yes.
Okay. Did they not ask you to review a song called Homicide, written and performed by Lil Woody featuring Fagiano?
Never heard of it, no.
Have you ever watched that video?
I haven't.
Okay. Are you aware of this song?
No.
You aware that in that music video, in that song, Woody talks about putting money on someone else's head?
Not aware.
Are you aware that the person he talks about putting money on their head is a heavy-set African-American male?
Not aware of that.
Are you aware that the person he conspires with in that video to kill the heavy-set African-American male is Trevante Turner?
And I would say objection vague as to, are you talking about what happened in the video?
Yes.
This video, and so
I haven't seen the video.
Okay, so you're not aware that Trevante Turner played the role of the hitman in Woody's video where
I haven't seen that video.
he depicts killing a heavy-set African-American male. Okay. No further questions. Thank you.
All right, are there any other defense counsel questions? No. All right, is there redirect? Go ahead.
Mr. Steele asked you when he was questioning you if any of these lyrics mention Donovan Thomas Jr.'s name inside of those songs. Do you recall
I
that line of
recall that question.
When you're listening to songs that may become a part of your investigation, do the ops usually say specifically the person's name, or is it more of a hidden message? What has been your experience when you're listening to the music that comes a part of your investigation?
My experience is not directly, saying the person's name is like sending a message, but like if that particular person or that person's group or person's gang know that I committed a crime or know that we have beef, then a lot of times they know it's obvious who they're sending the message to.
And when we say it's obvious, is it obvious to the opposition gang who the message is being targeted? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Mr. Schardt asked you about whether or not anyone from the music industry came and taught your class. Do you remember him asking you a series of questions about that?
Yes.
The classes that you took, were they focused on music or focused on gangs?
Focused on gangs.
And have you ever had anyone from the music industry come and talk to you about gangs?
No.
All right, any recross by anybody? All right, thank you for your time. You're excused. Call your next witness.